Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and I have some exciting news about turrets that I feel that nearly everyone's missed up to this point. Is that we're going to be able to alter them in a lot of ways that people didn't even think was going to be possible. And there's a number of examples of this that are already working in-game that's going to prove that this is more than just theory crafting. It's going to be the reality for a lot of ships. Now I'm going to be using examples from the F7 series, the Reliance, the Vanguards, and the Idris to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And one of the things that we're going to be able to do with turrets is find alternate versions of it that have the same mount size but can hold larger weapons. I'm going to use the F7 series to demonstrate what I'm talking about. If you take the F7M, which is the Super Hornet, the F7A, and the F7A Mark II, you'll see that all three of them have a size 3 weapon hardpoint under the chin. And all three of them can interchangeably use the same type of turret for this mount. The one that the Super Hornet comes with has two size 1 weapons, while the F7A's chin turret holds two size 2s, and the Mark II has a chin turret that holds two size 3 weapons on it. And this is the first time that we've seen turrets that hold different sized weapons that can all connect to the same hardpoint. And what this means is that the weapons that are mounted onto a turret are no longer going to be restricted by their weapon hardpoint sizes anymore. And this also means that it's going to be possible to greatly extend the DPS of any ship that already has an existing turret mount. And this is going to be big news for yet another reason. And ever since they removed the gimbaling restrictions, they've been trying to come up with a reason for why unmanned turrets are still relevant. And they do have a higher capacitor so that weapons that are mounted onto them will have more sustained fire, but I think that they were looking for a little more than that. And this is going to be it. And this also means that ship turrets will have a lot more upgrade options coming in the future. And these can end up being rewards that you get after raising your rep with certain factions, or venturing out to explore certain remote locations that sell illegal modifications to your existing turrets, or you could find some kind of fabrication template that could let you build them yourself. So that's going to be an example of how a turret's weapons are no longer going to be dictated by its mount size. And there's something else too. It's going to be possible to be able to replace a turret's utility mount with a weapon mount, and vice versa. So some remote turrets are going to be able to utilize any kind of hardpoint type, which further removes more of the restrictions that certain ships have. Because before, if a ship had a utility hardpoint, then that's all you could use it for, and that was that. There was nothing else you could do about it. And if you had a weapon hardpoint, you couldn't install a utility item onto it. But this example shows how remote turrets are going to allow players to freely switch between these two. The Reliant turrets are a good example of this, and specifically the Reliant core comes with a weapon turret on one side and a tractor beam on the other. And right now any ship in the Reliant series can be equipped with a remote turret that has twin size 2 guns, a single size 3 weapon, or a tractor beam. And you can easily switch between having any of these options for either of these two turret mounts. And this is going to add a whole new level of functionality to any ship that has a built-in turret. A pit crew could use a handheld tractor beam to convert your fighter craft into a utility ship simply by pulling off one mount and replacing it with another. And then whenever you want, you could go right back to its original configuration again. Repair ships like the Crucible could follow your fleet around and carry any alterations that you'd need and make any of the kinds of changes that you wanted to your ship on the fly. This is going to expand the possibilities of what you can do with this game instead of trying to pigeonhole what a ship's capabilities are going to be. Which definitely marks a turning point that's going back to the original concept that Star Citizen was founded on. And everything that they can do to further make that happen is a good move as far as I'm concerned. Another example of this can be seen with the Vanguard series. All of the Vanguards have a size 6 turret, but the Harbingers can be outfitted with two size 3 weapons while all the others only have two size 2 weapons installed on them. Which shows that it's not only remote turrets that are going to have some variation among them, even within their own size categories, but also manual turrets as well. And lastly, I've been hunting for any evidence of a ship that could replace its manual turret with a remote one, and at first I thought that I had finally found it with the Idris kit. But unfortunately, after digging a little deeper, I discovered that the kit doesn't let you do that with any of its turrets. As it stands, the automated bearing M2C point defense systems will only be able to replace the Idris's remote turrets. And the missile turret will replace the bearing M3C ASA turret, which is just swapping out one manned turret for another. But this still does reveal something. And it's that we'll be able to take whatever our default ship's turret options are and be able to replace it with something else. Like for instance, removing a gun emplacement and swapping it out for a missile launcher. But I'm still hoping that one day we'll be able to go full expanse with a cap or a large ship, and by that I mean being able to retrofit it with all remote turrets. I can see it being difficult to turn a remote turret into a manual one, but I also see it as being a lot easier to turn a manual one into a remote turret and then letting us map its controls onto an MFD. And that's what I really want to be able to do. I mean, if you're not going to let me use a blade to automate it, then just let me rip it out altogether and replace it with something that I do want. So those are just going to be some of the ways that we're going to be able to alter, upgrade, and replace the various turrets that are already on some of the in-game ships that we currently have access to. And hopefully they're going to keep expanding on this idea, as well as the kinds of options that they plan on making available to us in the future. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.